Hi everyone, Malcolm Brody here again for Human Vortex Training, talking about riding in cold weather and properly dressing. So we've talked already about 65 to 50 degrees, and that's a very broad range. And now we're going to talk about 40 to 50 degrees. And again, these are just the temperatures that I found that most riders kind of dress this particular way, where we'll take this into consideration. So talking about 50 to 40 degrees, what we're talking about now is we're really flirting with the possibility of freezing. And what that is you're saying, well, freezing is 32 degrees. How do you get that from 50 to 40? When you take the ambient temperature plus your rolling speed and the fact that you're creating wind at between hopefully 17 and 23 miles an hour, depending on your riding capabilities, or 13 to 23 miles an hour, now that temperature is going to drop considerably. So it's something that we need to remember. Even at 40 degrees or 45 degrees, once you get rolling, you can literally freeze. So we want to make sure that we're keeping the wind off of the body, that we're using proper pieces of cycling equipment to help you be able to ride in the cold weather. And for me personally, I love riding in that temperature range. I love riding all the way down to 20 degrees. I know that sounds weird. Winter is my favorite time of year, aside from early spring to ride. There's nothing like the cold, crisp air and the feeling of being out on the road when most people are stuck on their trainers. And I want to share that feeling with you because it is awesome. So we're going to talk again between 40 degrees and 50 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius. Okay, remember that, really important. So last time we talked about 50 to 65 degrees, and we talked about arm warmers, and we talked about knee warmers. These can be useful in this temperature range as well. Now, with that being said, with the knee warmers, what we want to take into consideration is the fact that our bib shorts for the summer are fairly light fabric, and they're almost kind of see-through. I don't know if you guys can see. Yeah, you can. So they're kind of see-through, so you think about the wind getting through there. It can be pretty cold down there, even if you're in a closed-off position. So that depends on your level of comfort, but you can get away with running a winter pair of bib shorts, and I do recommend bib shorts. Strongly recommend a pair of bib shorts as opposed to regular shorts. Again, it doesn't cut off the circulation to your gut, so it doesn't interfere with the digestion of all the good whole foods which you are going to be eating on your bike, like a peanut butter and honey sandwich, or a peanut butter and honey roll, or a banana, or some apple slices, some good healthy whole grain and whole foods on the bike. So we can ride with a nice arm warmer, with a summer jersey like we talked about last time, which we have here somewhere, a nice summer jersey, and a nice wind vest. So you can wear these couple pieces of equipment down to 40 degrees if you really want to. What I'm going to do is say you're just looking to purchase quality equipment that will help last you for a couple of years out riding in the cold. Again, we want another cycling hat. This is a temperature range. We definitely want to have a cycling hat on between 40 and 50 degrees, or something to cover your head. Head sweats are also out there. Those are incredibly popular. The whole head covers that come down to here, that'll help keep the sweat out of your eyes as well. But one of the other things that we can do is we can look at purchasing other pieces of equipment to help us along our journey here. So again, we're going to start from the inside out. So base layer. Let's talk a little bit about base layer. As we talked about 50 to 65 degree temperature range, the base layer should be moisture wicking. And it's really important to keep that in mind, because if it's not, you're going to run into some trouble here. So what I have here is I have a lighter, this is a long sleeve base layer. Again, it's moisture wicking. It comes all the way down to the sleeves. It's form fitting, really important. We want to have as tight of a fit as possible, get all that moisture away from our body, because winter riding, one of the keys is staying dry, number one, and staying warm, number two. Really important, dry and warm. Remember that, don't forget it. Because once you're getting cold and wet, once you get wet, you're going to get cold. So we want to have a light or a heavy base layer. I used to wear the Under Armour for 45 degrees, and now I wear it 40 and below because I was finding it was too heavy. But you can wear this. Obviously, you're not going to necessarily wear the arm warmers on top of that, although some people do, and that's okay. You can still thermoregulate and pull that up and down. But you want to wear a nice long sleeve base layer. And this is getting to temperature range, and I don't have mine here because I've loaned it out, but you can actually purchase a nice Castelli, Jordana, Assos. There are tons of Cannondale. The brands have a windproof front. So just like we talked about for the windproof vest, it's not quite as heavy as this, but you can get a long sleeve or short sleeve base layer that's windproof that'll help keep you warmer, and then it's a lot easier to wear the arm warmers with that. windproof base layer, and again, that is wicking that moisture away from you. So it'll have windproof in the front, and it'll be soft in the back, like normal cloth or a normal jersey, and that's what we want, because we want that sweat to go somewhere and dry away from us. So you want to have a base layer on first, either moderate or light, and that's something that's really important, because the next thing that we can do, and for me personally, between 40 and 50 degrees, I'll wear that light base layer, and then on top of that, I'll wear a nice long sleeve jersey, and you can see it's fleece. This is the About Time jersey that we have here, so something that's really nice that we can wear that's going to be warmer. And then on top of this, if it's closer to 40, I'll wear that wind vest on top of this to keep the wind off of my chest. But usually when I go out up to or down to 40 degrees, maybe 42, depending on the wind, I'll wear this with a moderate base layer up top, and that's it. The thing to be careful with is some of the jerseys, the long sleeve jerseys, will not come with pockets on the back, so keep an eye out for that. Now, let's say you're going to go out on a windy day. You don't necessarily have arm warmers, but you want to ride on a windy day. You have a summer jersey and you have a light base layer. What can you purchase that will help you ride colder? I'm glad you asked. You can get something like this, and this is a shell. This is a windproof, waterproof shell. Now, when you think windproof and waterproof, what's one of the next things that comes to mind? If water can't get in, then water won't go out. So when you're wearing this, you need to be aware of how much you're sweating. And this is nice because it has the double zipper that we talked about last time, where you can zip it on so you're starting a ride, or you're getting ready for a race, you're going to the line, you want to stay warm, and you can quickly take this off as the race is getting to start, so you don't have to worry about overheating. And then if you are starting to overheat, again, we want to keep that wind off of your chest. So the nice thing about it is it has a zipper from the bottom, so we're able to vent and regulate, thermoregulate from the bottom up, so we're keeping the wind off the chest, and then that air come in just a little bit at the bottom to dry everything out. So again, you don't want to be sweating heavily on the bike. We want to keep you nice and warm and dry. Okay, so we talked a little bit about possibly using the summer bibs, but what if it's just a little bit too cold for your nether regions and you just can't quite handle that? Well, there are out there, these are called knickers, and these come just below the knee. So these will cover the knees in lieu of having warmers, knee warmers. These are the Jordana brand. This is their silver line. This is towards the top of the line for them. And again, you're going to notice this is fleece, so it's a lot heavier. And the nice thing about this is as you go through and get into the cold gear, some of them will have a little bit more padding down there. Again, they don't want that air coming in, so you have a little bit more padding. It'll be structured a little bit differently, and that's going to be the biggest difference between a men's and women's bib, which we'll talk about in another Ask the Coach segment here. So pieces of equipment that we're looking to purchase to ride down to 40 degrees, between 40 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit, are going to be knickers, a winter shell, or arm warmers, a wind vest, which we talked about before. This is the second segment. We're talking about a wind vest. Or if you don't want to wear a wind vest, a summer jersey, a light base layer, and what we can do is we can purchase a long sleeve warm jersey. So two pieces of equipment that we've now added to our repertoire. Remember last time, 50 to 65 degrees, we had the wind vest, a summer jersey, a light base layer, and our summer shorts, along with our knee warmers. What we can add now is a long sleeve winter jersey, and we want that to be fleece. So there are light long sleeve and heavy long sleeve. We want a heavy long sleeve fleece. You can add a wind shell, and then you're looking at knickers. So between the temperature range of 40 and 50 degrees. So a couple pieces of equipment that we want to take into account is we want to think about our digits, our feet and our hands, which are most commonly the first or second thing that go cold, as well as our ears. So down to 40 degrees, one of the things that I like to recommend, you can wear a cycling hat with this or no cycling hat, and these are ear warmers, or ear covers rather. So they just come nice and over, they'll sit right underneath. This is going to keep the wind from getting in. The one thing to consider are glasses. If you're wearing glasses, that's going to open it up just a little bit to the wind. So keep that in mind. But this is a great piece of equipment for you to help keep your ears from getting freezing cold, literally. As far as hands and feet go, we're going to start with the hands. Now, for some of you who are brave out there, you can wear those light spring gloves, which we talked about last time. These do a fairly good job. I usually ride these down to about 45. I feel fairly comfortable with them. However, once we get below 45, I like to have a light wind-proof glove on my hand to keep that wind off. And you can see it has the nice terry here, again, for wiping your nose. And this has a little bit of padding on each of the ends of the fingers to make sure I can keep a nice solid grip onto the bars and adjust properly. It has a little bit of a heavier Velcro at the top to help seal that off. These are nice. These are Jordana. The nice thing about these is they actually have 2 or 3 gloves that go with this that you can layer one on top of another. So there's one that goes inside of here to keep it warmer. So for now $85 or $75, I'm getting gloves all the way down to 20 degrees. But this is a windproof layer, which is really important for riding. Again, we talked about the wind between 40 and 50 degrees, the ambient temperature, but once you get rolling speed, 13 to 23 miles an hour, you can get frostbite. So important to have windproof gloves. Now, if your feet and your hands do get really cold, we can always get chemical hand and foot warmers. The place that I like to put these with caution is right inside the curvature of my finger and my thumb. So that way, I take a little piece of masking tape and stick it to the top of the glove here so it won't destroy the glove. Masking tape, not duct tape. And I put it right in that crease. So it creates a little bit of pressure, and that's right where that main vein and artery go into our hands, so that warms the blood before it even gets to the fingers. So it's a great little trick that I use. It does not affect my handling on the bike, my ability to hold the handlebars or shift gears. I have had some riders place the hand warmers up in here. The problem is then you're you loosens the grip on the handlebars, and if you hit something in the road or you need to brake, you don't have the maneuverability. So keep that in mind, hand warmers. And I generally like to open these 10 to 15 minutes before or while I'm getting dressed, so that by the time I'm ready to get out the door, they're hot because they rely on air. Once you put them in there, they don't air as much, and they won't heat up as much. So that's your fingers between 40 and 50 degrees, windproof gloves, and that's my suggestion. Now, what about our lower digits? What about our metatarsals, our feet? Again, hand warmer or toe warmer, and I'll show you where those will go on the shoe. And we can use light, these are Giordano light weight wool socks, or we can do heavy, or medium or heavy, depending on how cold your toes get. So these are specifically designed, these are Cannondale, and what these are going to do is they support the inseam of the foot just a little bit and provide a lot of warmth. These are ankle high, so keep that in mind, whereas these are lower calf high. These are almost like party socks. Now, what about for the shoe? So another piece of equipment that's really useful is we have the toe covers. So again, covering the vents. So me personally, down to 40 degrees, I'll use this. I'll put that toe warmer right inside here on top, put this on, then I'll keep my toes nice and warm. Or if it's windy and wet outside, or you want something that comes up to the ankle, you can get a windproof, water-resistant full cover, and this is the Castelli cover, which as you can see has a full zipper, comes up above the ankle, which is incredibly nice. I love these. A great piece of equipment. Again, room for the cleat to come through. So these will help keep you dry and warm in the feet. And again, I put that toe warmer right in here, pull these over top after the toe warmer has been activated. Great pieces of equipment. So again, 40 to 50 degrees. You want to think about frostbite and freezing because of the ambient temperature plus your moving speed. And remember, stay dry. We want to have a wicking base layer, and we want to keep you nice and warm. Remember, train smarter, not harder, and it's all about you.